Well, hi everyone. Amanda Johnson with Awaken Village Press. And it's been a minute since I've done a live, and I am really honored and excited to be with one of our published authors today, Gabriella Cacciatore, as we are here to talk about something really important and also to bring a bit more awareness to sexual assault survivors and those who have dealt with sexual assault, as this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month still. We have a few more days left here in April. And so we are going live today to talk a little bit about Gabriella's journey and her experience writing about her story, sharing her story with the world when it was published last year, and how the writing process can be a healing and therapeutic one. So let me bring Gabriella on. Let's see, she's coming in here. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. How are you?
Well, you know what? Let's not start with that. We are here. It's a Tuesday, and it's I mean, maybe all of us are feeling a little crunchy today. I don't know, but we're doing this anyway. We're doing it anyway. Because Gabrielle, I feel like you can speak to this. You went through a multi-month, I was gonna say more than a year's journey writing your book, writing your story. I mean, it was more than that, but by the time I came along, um, and you had lots of crunchy moments, and you had lots of moments where the question, how are you, may have been hard to answer.
Yes, or unwilling to answer,
Fair, fair.
not wanting to go there. Yeah, I can deeply relate to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Deeply, deeply. The process of writing a book is, uh, it's a journey. It's the best one that I've ever been on, for sure. It was the most healing thing I've ever done. But there were definitely some moments where I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I conjuring all these feelings back up that I could just tuck away and never look at again and just stay where I'm
Mhm.
at? But nevertheless, we persist one
You
day at a
did.
time.
You did. Yes, we do. You did, and you have a book to show for it. Tell us, so let's sort of yeah, sort of settle into why we're even talking today. I mean, I said it quickly at the beginning, but I mean, again, you are a sexual assault and a sexual abuse survivor, and that's what your book was about, is about. So tell us a little bit about why you wanted to even talk about this today and why that matters.
Yes, of course. I think it's very important to talk about. And oh, look who someone has joined us.
Well,
Sorry.
hello there, kitty cat. Hi
Hey.
there, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you so much, little kitty. He said, I want to be in on this conversation. You can sit, that's
There.
fine. We appreciate it. As a survivor of sexual assault and sexual abuse, which I believe stems from both, because a lot of the times that you're attracting it in your adult life because it's something you haven't dealt with as a child that may have happened to you. It may have not maybe been physical, but it could have been in context. I'm getting yelled at. Sorry.
The
So
distractions won't stop. What's going on? I love this.
right, what's going on here? Um, Sorry, now I lost my train of thought. But it's important to be able to talk about it, right? Because it's such a shameful thing that no one wants to believe happens. We know that it happens on so many different levels. It's really hard to look at. It's really hard to live with as well, being violated in that way. And then you see so many things on the news that are gaslighting women and men. It doesn't happen to just one, it happens to both. And it's just such a touchy topic that really shouldn't be when it's happening to so many people. And it is a deeply, when it happens to you, it deeply impacts your life. It impacts your ability to feel safe. And I feel for everyone who's gone through it. It's a major healing process as well. It's not something that you just like, oh, I'm going to do a therapy session and then it's over. Like I know at least for me, I didn't start writing my book until when was it? So if it's been like 6 or 7 years into my healing journey, when I have already done a huge chunk of work and I still wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Even through the writing process, I was bringing things to you and you were saying to me, like, does this need to go in here? And it was like, no, but it needs to come out of me.
That's right.
And you
It
gave me
does.
space to do that. Like, there's so many things that I wrote. There's a book within a book of what was published, essentially. And
Right.
it's through the writing process, it really helped me tap into the things that I didn't want to say out loud, or things that I did say out loud, but I wasn't allowing myself to feel. And it allowed me to bring those feelings back up and deal with them.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that. And let's just quickly go back to the shame piece, because I feel that's a huge part of what, to your point, why we aren't talking about it. I mean, I'll being very transparent, I thought, oh, can we talk about this? Is that okay? And it's like, yeah, of course it's okay, right? And not because I think I carry shame, but just more from a being, sensitive. But I think there's so much shame out there around this topic. And when, of course, anyone writing a book is already facing, can I say this? Am I the person to say this? How is this going to be received? What are people going to think of me? Right? That is already for like anyone writing a book. Let's just be honest. Layer on top of that your experience that you also are carrying potentially with so much shame already. Okay, now try to write about that, right? Like imagine all of the additional layers of fear or resistance or obstacles that a person would face, right? So let's when you think about the shame piece of it, I mean you can kind of speak about any part of that, but specifically when it came to writing, how did the writing process maybe even help you with the shame or help you move through the shame of it?
It helped me see it for what it is, meaning I would write it and and again, as you know, there were things that I did not want to write, and on the surface, it doesn't seem that bad, but the feeling underneath it was so heavy
Mhm.
that once I put it on paper, I was like, oh. But also under the shame was a lot of fear, right? So it brought up both, and then sometimes I would get stuck in both and not know which one was which. But it helped me progress forward in a way that I wouldn't have done otherwise, because my brain used to allow me to just like shut it off. I could be like this, but once it was out on the paper, it was like, oh, okay, this is true. Now I get to decide what I make meaning out of it now.
Beautiful. Yeah. And of course, you had someone, you know, in it with you, and that in a way you couldn't look away from it, right? You couldn't, it wasn't, oh, I mean, writing in a journal, and like you said something I think so important. I want to repeat it. You did not start writing your book until maybe 6 or 7 years into your healing journey, right? Because there are so many parts of this process that are important and are not meant to be, bypassed or jumped over. And so you had to be at a certain place before you could even write the book, right? And then the writing of the book became another layer of healing, another form of healing. And of course, again, I think because of the work you had done so far, you were able to face it in that way. You were able to look at it in that way, and you were able to let someone else in, which I think is a part of the process, right? So you're not sitting with it alone anymore, and you're not facing it alone. And now it's okay, here's what we have, right?
And a big part
Yeah.
of it for anyone in any form of healing process with something traumatic that's happened is just allowing yourself to be seen. It's like as soon as you can do that and then establish safety within yourself doing that, that's how you move forward, right? Because otherwise you're just continually carrying the shame with you in a new skin. It's like,
Mm.
oh, this might be a new version of me, but I'm still ashamed of this. I'm not going to look at this. No one can see that about me. That's a secret.
Oof.
And it's almost like opening up all the secrets and just putting them all out. And then you get to choose which one goes here, where, or if it just stays there and it's just seen for a moment. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So well said. I love this. I mean, there's a long time, I think even Brene Brown talks about, shame can't live in the light. And so I think as soon as we let it be seen, whatever we consider shameful, that is, we shine a light on it, we let it be seen, and yeah, it can't thrive anymore, it can't live, right? You said something else so important. You were like, oh, there were so many times during the writing process, it's like things would come up and you'd have to sit with them and process them. I think that's the other reason we're talking today, right? Because there's this healing that can happen. And I've always known this. I mean, I've been doing this work, well, not always, but I've been doing this work for over 7 years now. I knew it happened even when I wrote my first book, which was not about being a survivor of any sort, other than, being a human and having all that nonsense to deal with. But over my time, I actually have had opportunity to work with a number of mostly women, I suppose, who have been sexually assaulted or sexually abused. Um, and definitely have dealt with trauma in their lives. And time again, I've witnessed the journey that they've gone on through the writing of their book or their story, and the healing that it can deliver or offer, or some of the therapeutic sort of, purging, and again, being seen in a way that maybe they hadn't before. And again, many of them having done a lot of work before that, right? Like you did. But you being one of them. And of course, our relationship through that process, I think, even illuminated other things for both of us, right? In terms of, there's so much I can do in that process that I'm gifted at and I know how to do, and I know how to hold that space. And then there are things that I can't do, right? And I'm really aware of that. And so tell me a little bit about your experience of that, and why you do the work you do, because I think that's sort of this merging of two worlds that we're talking about today.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of the times when I would get stuck, it was because stuff was stuck in my body and I couldn't even access my brain. I'd sit at my computer and I'd be like this, but my body was so locked up. I'd go into freeze mode and that was it. And I'd have to almost wait for myself to thaw out. And it was so annoying because I just wanted to go forward, but at the same time, that thought in and of itself was hurting the process of continuing on and getting it done even quicker, right? So through that process, I learned a lot about self-compassion and stuff like that. Um, but through that, I realized, like, oh, if I had someone who does the work that I do while I was doing that, I could have kept going even sooner. Meaning someone to hold the space for me to go into my body, to be like, where is this? Okay, where am I holding it? What does it need? How do I move it through? Doing the energy work of, putting your psyche back together, reclaiming the parts of you, bringing them back to the present so that they feel safe. Because a lot of the other times too would be like, part of me was in this experience again and it didn't feel safe and it was trying to drag me back there, and I couldn't notice it at that time because when you're in it you can't notice it. So if I always thought if I had someone there who understood that, I could have easily, or not, maybe not easily, but more gracefully
Mm.
guided myself back to writing. It's kind of like what we talk about like shortening the periods of forgetting who you are, right? When
Mhm.
you're dissociating, you get stuck in this part and then you have to remember, oh no, I'm in control, like this. So it's that same thing, like, oh, I'm getting lost in this story. How do I get back to this story that I'm creating without bringing that energy into my world? Because that's what I was scared of too, was like, oh no, I'm writing, I'm going to bring this energy up. And if I don't control this energy, then this energy is going to go do something. So learning how to contain that and having a safe space to process it and integrate it in that moment would have been a huge, huge help.
Absolutely. And I think you and I were both aware of that. And I'm loving why. So you and I are seeing this now as such an opportunity and a gift to bring to others specifically. I mean, I work with all types of authors and thought leaders and change makers out there. And people who have experienced something like you have, those who have traumatic experiences or have had traumatic experiences, especially again, sexual assault or abuse being such a common one as you're talking about. And that's why, we're talking about it today. I think there is such power in the process of sharing your story, as you're saying. And then in addition, what you didn't get, which we now see would be such a benefit or added benefit to the process, is having someone like you guiding people alongside the journey, right? So what we've talked about is this beautiful container where you receive guidance from me to go through the book writing process, which again is still going to be, we're not here to rush it, right? We're not here to make it happen. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's not the point. So it's, to your point, I love how you say it, we're shortening the time frame of forgetting who we are, really. But we don't have to compress the whole process more than it needs to be. It's going to take the time it takes. It might take, it will definitely take many months. It might take a year. It might take, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. It just depends on the individual. But we're here to guide you. And so, in addition to that, having someone like Gabriella also walking beside you to support you in those moments of coming back into your body, reclaiming those parts of yourself, bringing that, like making sure that you have a person who's been through it, they've lived it, and this is your work in the world. I mean, tell us a little bit more about that. I feel like you've had some real clarity about that in the last, I mean, you've known this for a while, but there's been some even additional clarity coming in the last month. So
Mm. It's funny, before the call, I was sitting here and thinking about it because I was like, why didn't I think of this like while I was writing? And then I realized because I wasn't gifted this until after, in the middle of my process, when I had done ayahuasca, it had taught me a few different things. So I
mhm.
was like, oh, and a pattern for me actually has been going and experiencing something, seeing what's missing, and then bringing that missing piece into the thing. So I was like, this makes a lot of sense for other people, especially people who have been through abuse, because as I write in my book, it's safety and stability, process and integration, and then connection and community. So writing the book essentially would be one of your last steps of healing, right? So a lot of the work that I do with people is integration work, right? And that's not meaning with plant medicine, it's integrating the parts of yourself, integrating your experiences, integrating the energies inside your body, figuring out who you really are and how to get there. Because and it's in there, but there's all these other energies and experiences on top of you, and pulling back those layers through being a guide. I'm not telling you anything. I'm guiding you for you to figure it out yourself. Um, and it's been profound for myself. I know that my I have positive feedback from all my clients, and it's been amazing. It's just
Yeah.
incredible work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel you've been over many months now, but I mean, in the last month, I just know you had kind of a real wake up call to say, listen,
Yeah.
Missy,
Yes, they told
stop
me I was a
hiding.
healer.
But you've been doing this work for quite some time now. And again, you've been through it, you've walked through it, you've experienced it personally. And again, I'm so grateful that I got to go on that journey with you, and see and witness your journey, and then to go, wow, we could like think of how we can help even more, right? How we can support. It's just more support, really. It's those who feel called to write their story, write their message. You know who you are, we're here for that. And now there's an opportunity to have even additional support along the way, which I'm just super grateful for and excited about. And just a quick plug, if you haven't already grabbed a copy of Gabriella's book, it's called Unbroken by Gabriella Cacciatore. I'm sure you can find it at her bio, if not even at the link in our bio. So yeah, Gabriella, anything else you want to say about, I mean, the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, about, sexual abuse? What would you like for those who might have experienced this? What would you like them to know? What would you like them to, I don't know, what would you like to say to them today?
Well, I have one thing that I'd like to say before saying anything.
Sure.
It's that the book writing process that we're talking about doesn't mean that you need to publish your story.
Mm,
It's getting it out of you that's so liberating. Like, I could, even if I never published my book, I wouldn't have cared because of the experience I had of writing the book and seeing everything for what it was and feeling everything for what it was and understanding that I am free because I have spoken it.
mm,
It has nothing to do with being an author or having a book out in the world. It's for you. It was the best therapy I ever did, and I've been in years of therapy, but I always say it was the best money I ever spent on myself, and I would
mm.
do it again and again. I kind of felt lost after I stopped writing because I was like, there's nothing to do? Like, what do you mean? Like, how do I get there? How do I go there? And so I feel like it's so important, especially when you've had something happen to you that's inside your body, right? And the only way through is to see it. right? And sometimes that looks different for everyone. Some people aren't able to remember it, but there's something to be said about allowing yourself to write unfiltered that is extremely healing.
Mm. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you for saying that because there is so much truth. And people might misunderstand. I'm coming in here as a publisher. It's like, no, no, I'm coming in as a book doula. I'm coming in as a writing guide, as someone who understands as an author myself, but really because I knew the same thing was true. I needed to get the book out of me. And then of course I see publishing as a bit of a means to an end. Like, okay, well then let's get the book in the world, There's some value to that for some individuals, but not for everyone. Not for everyone. And I love that you clarified that because the writing process and journey itself is the transformative process. That is where the individual goes on the journey and becomes somebody new before the book is ever released into the world. So, absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for holding the space.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share before I just felt like I wanted to come on, keep this sort of short, and just let people know that, listen, if anything we're saying is speaking or resonating with you, of course, reach out to me, reach out to Gabriella, either one of us, and we will connect with you, and we will answer questions and show you what this could look like and what this could feel like for you to go on a process like this. But anything else you want to say to
Yes,
our
nothing is
audience?
too much. When it feels, I feel like a lot of survivors will be like, oh, it's too much for someone else to hear. It's not.
Mhm.
It's not. It's not. You are not alone. I know from my end, I'm able to hear it. I know from your end, you're able to hear it because you held all mine. I haven't heard anything worse. So like it's not too much. You're not a burden. You're not alone, and it's not your fault.
Mm.
But it does become your responsibility to heal yourself so that you can feel better
And end the cycles, right?
and
And end the
end the
cycles.
cycles.
Amazing. Oh, I want to go on. Can we do it again, Gabrielle? Can you write another book?
Please.
No, now we get to I'm just excited to collaborate in this way with you. This feels so exciting. So again, if something we said sparked you, oh my gosh, again, grab her book, Unbroken. It is in the world. You may as well read it. It's really freaking good. And of course, you may find yourself in those words, and you may even find a little more courage and confidence to go about the process yourself, to go on the journey yourself. And if you do feel like this approach, if you're ready, and again, I think you've said it, it's like if you've done the healing work and you've you've done the things you know to do, but there's still some part of you that's like, oh, I don't know what's next or what to do next. Reach out. This might be your sign. This might be the invitation for you. So send us a message. We will have a conversation and go from there. So thank you, Gabriella, for having the courage to do the work, having the courage to share your story, to letting me see it, to letting me be a part of it, and to now sharing your gifts that you've cultivated, that you've received, that you've honed because of the fire you've gone through and the process you've gone through, so that others can, have a more graceful time through it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm excited
So
to work together.
I know, me too. Me too. So much love. Stay tuned. We'll share more, but just reach out if you have any questions, DM us, and we will chat. All right.
Good.
Mwah. So much love.
Have a
Take
good
care.
one. All right,
Bye
bye-bye.
bye.